Hello, everybody. This is John Banda, and this is the Banda Ngundu podcast. Right now, my co-host, Lisa Ngundu, aka the Anime Prophet, isn't around. He's experiencing technical difficulties, but for now, I'm going to have to solo this out. My guest tonight is the lovely Lisa Chivanga, if I'm not mistaken. Did I butcher your surname?
No, you were close.
I was close.
Close
Okay,
to
cool.
perfect. Yeah.
Close to perfect. That's usually very good. If you're close to perfect, it's better than nothing. So Lisa is a concept artist and also a graphic designer. She is, I guess you could call her up and coming, big thing. Or maybe I'm overhyping her. Who knows? Maybe she might become a fad for the following year. Hopefully not. Hopefully she'll continue the momentum of growth and produce awesome work. So before I ramble and end up, doing this intro for far long, I'll let Lisa speak. So how are you doing, Lisa?
I am doing quite alright, I've been down with the sickness this past week, but I'm bouncing back slowly but surely,
Okay.
taking lots of carrots, bunnies gonna eat their carrots and lots of water.
Okay.
So I think I'll be fine.
All right, cool. So is this sickness lethal? Are you part of the statistics?
No, I'd say I am. This is not me saying I'm giving myself a diagnosis or anything, but no, it's not. Nothing hectic involved, like fevers or whatever. It's just headaches, and I know this because the season just changed. So it happens to me like every time we move from winter to spring. There's allergies that come along with it. So yeah. It's just bad timing, but I think I'll be fine.
All right, cool. Well, I will. Okay, I won't pray for your health, but I'll just say it just to sound politically correct. I will pray for you. Yeah, just keeping it real, people. It's just an interview. It's not like I care. Anyways, so all right, so let's get into the interview. So what I wanted to find out is, first of all, you do concept art, right? Like in graphic design, like those two things. Okay. And so tell me, when did you start? Like how did you end up becoming this creative person?
Should we start from the beginning, or should we start from the
you can start from
beginning?
from the very beginning, like the Bible. Give us your Genesis.
Okay, from the womb. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll start from the womb.
Yeah, cool. Like I don't know. Tell me how it happened. Like maybe your mom was at some joint and someone was drawing, and like maybe the vibrations of him stroking his brushstroke just pass through the layers of flesh. Like, I want to be like this guy.
Okay. I think we really don't have to start from the Stone Age. I'll just start from the top. So basically, the way I grew up was that I was just fascinated by TV shows, specifically animated ones, like DBZ, that's like the biggest one. And we have also like American cartoons, like Looney Tunes and all that stuff. So it was just an interest that started way before I even started watching TV, because I was always good at coloring in kindergarten.
Okay.
And I always took first place. I would make sure that I would take first place.
Okay, so you were destroying the competition at a young age.
Yes, it started like that. So even my handwriting was good. I started writing with a pen before other kids. I used to have merits for the best handwriting in school.
Wow,
So
they
it was
actually.
like they would even take me to teach the grade sevens how to properly write.
Wow, and
So I'd say,
when they'll
yeah.
make you do that.
Sorry?
You were what grade when they'll make you do that?
I was like grade 3, grade 4.
That
So
must
I
have
was
been
really popular.
that must have been really insulting to get someone like you know, grades below you to
Yeah.
teach you how to write. I clash with
Yeah.
any of the older grades, or were they like, wow, you know, this prodigy?
Well, I had a really like tough sister who was like also pretty popular around the school. So they wouldn't do anything to me because she would come and beat them up. She was she was a tough cookie. So
Oh,
I think just naturally I had a thing for art, just born with it. I do
mm,
hear that in my family there was also people who were artists. My mom was more into architecture
okay,
and metal work and all that, some weird stuff. Still can't
wait,
believe till this day that she used to weld and stuff.
oh, okay. Well,
Mm.
she no longer does that, or like,
And well, she evolved into other things, but it's also nice to hear the history that they were some artists, even though like they later transitioned into other careers.
okay,
So it wasn't just me to begin with.
okay,
I
so
also have siblings who are into art as well, but they also transitioned into other things. So I
okay.
guess it's in the family.
So, but you're the only one who had the balls, or rather the coochie
Yeah,
to do it.
well, I wouldn't mind also saying balls, it's fine. Because it really puts us on the map right there. But
Yeah.
the way it started, before I jump too much into the future, is that
Mm,
it was always a fight to be at the stage that I am right now. Because when I was starting out, I didn't have anyone else at that time who I knew did the same thing.
okay.
So the fascination of animation and drawings and cartoons was like, when I looked at it, I felt like I was very unique because I would use that skill to manipulate other kids at school because they're like, Lisa, your drawings are so good. I'm like, yeah, you want me to draw this character for you? You better pay me, pay me with your lunch or something like that.
Oh,
So,
so you're a
it,
business artist from the get go.
yeah, funny enough, even my
Mm,
sister used to do that. My elder sister, she was also very good. She was serious.
mm,
She also used to do the same thing, drawing diagrams, for other kids. Even like in class, they would always call me to draw
mm.
diagrams on the chalkboard. Even though I was short, I'd have to get a chair for that, and people would
Mm.
always laugh. So it would
So
always backfire.
so does your sister still like it seems like your family is full of artists. Does she still like make art, or she has moved on to doing something else?
Yeah, well, she doesn't do that, and she's very creative. But then she
Mm.
doesn't draw anymore. She's more of a singer these days. She's more into that side of
Performative
art.
arts.
Yeah,
Okay.
performative us.
Mm,
But we seem to have budding artists coming. I have my niece.
mm.
She's like 5, and she is a bomb. I tell you, because she's like, Melissa, you draw so well. I want to be like you. Like, oh.
Yeah,
So she's doing a pretty good job even at her age. So I guess it's there.
so I guess she's the next female Kim Jong-ji.
I'm very afraid of her, man. Like,
Okay, so you think like by the time she's like 15, she'll be able to take away your job.
exactly, she might just overthrow me, man. I had to build this throne up and be the only one. Now she's coming here with such fire and force. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
it's
I've
going to
noticed,
be
especially with like I have a feeling especially with the whole access to online education, that if more like if you encourage like younger kids who are into arts to access like high level material, like the stuff on Newman or Schoolism or Brainstorm, like generally I have a feeling by the time they're like 20 or 21, they'll be so good, they'll be at the level of
Yeah, they will totally
yeah.
destroy us.
So I don't know. I guess it's like a double-edged sword. It's like you, of course, I'm pretty sure you're journeying to getting better, like, from the very beginning. Like maybe some of the producers who end up working at Industrial Lights and Magic when they're like 21. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but at the same time, I think that standards of art are gonna go up, and it's gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
competitive because now you got like people who are 19, 18 making that's at the level of someone who's been doing it for like 30 years, and you're like, wow, imposter syndrome. Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, you were young. You did a lot of art. You even made money from having your classmates give you food for you to draw. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so continuing from there, I would also like I was into like anything artsy in general. I was just highly competitive in nature, that I just wanted to be good at everything. Even though I was very artistic, I was also very much into sports competitively. Primary school for me was like very fun, because that's where I got to explore most of the skills that I have now. And I had a little fan base that would encourage me to draw all the time, though back home was a different story. So this is just like the sad part of the story. Growing up, my parents weren't supportive of being like an artist, right?
Wait, they weren't, or they were supportive?
They weren't.
Really?
Yeah, it was academics come first, everything else second. That's how it was.
Didn't you find it strange that, considering that they also had an artistic background, that they were...
No, back then I didn't know.
Okay, at the time you didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like academics come first. So my dad was in the military, having actually he still is very much in service. So he was pretty scary dude. He was a very loving father, but very scary, because each time you were to come to a close in terms of the term, he would tell you, you're gonna study hard, because when you come back with your report book when school is over, you have to make sure you have the highest marks.
Wow.
And then he would also tutor me sometimes. So it even started with primary school. It was just like that. And then you'd come home trembling, dude. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Probably because you're number 2 or you're number 1, but then your marks are lower than last terms, like the last term's marks.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem was. It was like a pretty strict upbringing, so you didn't have time to do other things that weren't academically
so does it
in the family.
So does it mean that like you were like an A student? Because like usually if you're under that kind of stricture, you'll be excelling. So
I do not like to put myself on a high pedestal. I am very competitive when it comes to my school stuff, and I was like that pretty much, still am. When it comes to school, like my work ethic is very competitive level, high competitive level, because of that upbringing, naturally.
Okay. So you were an A student, right? Well, that's amazing. I mean, not a lot of artists can have brains and also, Because like some of the guys, even like the guys in what's it called, like in the Afro Tokyo like the Afro Tokyo guys, like I know them personally, but academically they weren't as amazing. But of course, Kadzai is pretty good at what he does. Like there are a lot of guys you'll find like they're not really good at maths, etc. and other things, but it seems like you're I guess a hybrid artist. You're very good at school and you're very good at art.
Well, a hybrid artist that failed maths. But anyway.
What? Wait, you failed maths? That's shocking.
Yeah, I did actually. I did fail maths.
How?
I remember sitting in the exam and I was like, what the heck am I looking at right now? No, actually, I had a panic attack because I was writing my maths test.
Oh.
I have no idea what happened till this day. All I just know is that I gave up the exam.
Really?
Probably because I got stuck on one question and I was beating myself over it because I had seen it somewhere the day before. You see, this is why you shouldn't study a day before an exam. But I still do it anyways.
Alright, cool. Anyways, alright. So I guess you do struggle with some things. I was beginning to think you were like an A student.
Yo, I'm not invincible. But yeah, in terms of that, it happened.
Okay.
So moving on from that stage, drawing was like wasting paper. Paper was just for school, so I wasn't allowed to be seen like doing my own drawings. But I was still cheap, you know. In my room, I would still draw and take my drawings to school. So I started creating a comic book when I was in primary school. And I was even coloring it because I heard there were things like comic books, because there were these guys that used to come to my primary school and show us comic books and stuff and run competitions. I actually won a competition at one point from those guys that would come, and that's when I was like, whoa, comics are so cool. So I wasn't just your typical girl in the neighborhood. I was pretty much on the tomboyish side, like into brute sports, into cartoons,
and Dragon Ball Z. Yeah,
and Dragon Ball Z.
Because I noticed that especially right now, or at least from what I've seen online, females, like if you want to get a female into liking anime, probably would start with Death Note or something like mature. If it's something like Dragon Ball, would anyway, I guess maybe things have changed for the worst. I don't just,
I'll say it's too late for some weebs who didn't like grow up on the actual proper culture, but then it isn't written that it's late for them. They'll just catch up with the new stuff that's coming in. But they're those real OGs, man. Feels good to be part of them.
Alright, cool. Alright, so right now, so basically you were drawing like in secret for fear of destroyed by your father, the military man. Did you illustrate maybe at art, like were there any clubs, like art club, or like where you could?
To be honest, I think there was an art club, but then I think I was just of a high caliber, that I.
Oh, you were better than them.
I was just naturally better than them, so I didn't have an art class. Even when I went to high school, there was a technical graphics class, but there was also this funny story that happened around that. So I don't know if you want me to skip or we can.
No, sure. I'm pretty sure whoever's listening, whoever went to school with you, is curious to hear about you talking about how you were way better than the people who were in the art club.
Okay, so I'll just say, try to wrap it up for primary school. So with primary school, started drawing in comic book format. It wasn't like with panels, but it was more like folded pages That's how I made kind of just like folded pages. And then this book became thick until someone stole it from me, and then my dreams were crashed.
Oh, well, that's sad.
And then my dreams were crashed from that. I think the story was titled Twin Sisters Beyond Good and Evil. It was actually a pretty cool title. And I really loved that story. But then unfortunately it was inspired by, what's the name of that show? Totally Spies, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just remember that now. Interesting. So, moving on to high school. After that whole incident where my comic book was stolen, I decided to quit drawing for a while.
Really?
And yeah, I actually decided to quit drawing for a while.
Okay, because like if you put your heart into it, someone is still...
I become very
sad.
Attached to my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started writing more. I'm also a writer, to those who don't know. But I keep my stuff secret. Funny enough,
you wanna separate what people come to look forward to from you.
I don't know. It just happens automatically. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm actually good at that people out there don't really know, except like people in my close circles. Maybe they would know. Even like writing is something that I was also very good at, very articulate at. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Growing up. So I started writing more. I made a couple friends who were very much into my interest that I was into, and they were also writers. Shout out to Lovejoy Mnamati and Becky. So I played with artists. That it just happened naturally, because it's just that thing. I was very reserved as well. Like, I would sit and then I would like analyze. Okay. Who are the proper people to hang out with here? So it was always the competition, the ones that are on top of their game, and the ones that are also open-minded. So it wasn't just like everyone. It was me first analyzing who to play with, and then after realizing that they are into the same stuff that I'm into, then I'll create a sort of like circle from that.
So basically, basically you found your cult members and became the cult lord.
I wouldn't want to call myself that, but to some extent, high school was pretty interesting, to be honest, because we started this little club, just like 3, 4, 5 members of us, where we will talk about how we want to be great writers one day, and we would read a lot of books and stuff. So the whole idea of comic books at that time kind of died out until I made friends with this guy called Innocent. We went to school together, and he was like, "Hey, dude, you know comic books and stuff?" And I was like, yeah. And then that's when it slowly started coming back. And I was like, we should draw a comic book. I was like, a collaboration some sort. So I had my first collaboration with a senior. So when this whole thing was happening, there was a senior that came to me and was like, I heard like everyone is talking about it, that you're really good. I don't know why people always did this, because I didn't talk to a lot of people, but they somehow knew about me. And automatically, they just put me on the map without me trying.
Whoa. Boss levels, huh?
Yeah, it's like, I'm serious. It just happened. And this guy came, and I was like, I heard everyone is talking about your artwork. I'm the one who was actually good before you came, so show me your stuff.
Oh, the rival shows up and it's like, hey, you're stealing my thunder. Let's see how good it is.
he was pretty threatening when he came, but I was also threatening myself, you know.
Mm.
I was what they call a bully's bully. So I would
Oh,
bully a bully.
okay. Okay.
So he came out and he's like, okay, show me your work, show me your artwork. And then I showed him, I was like, hey, you draw this? Nah, there's no way. I was like, if you wanna, we could have a showdown right now. So we kind of did that. I'm surprised that I'm remembering this stuff now. I'm pretty surprised.
Mm.
And then after that, he kind of respected me, man. And he would come every day at lunch, at break. He would be like, let's do this thing. And then we started working on a comic book. I think somewhere in a trunk back home, I have the original pages of this thing. And then we started working on a comic book. He would draw the very hard poses. Since he was in technical graphics class, he was pretty much way better in terms of perspective and all that.
Okay.
And I would put in stuff like dialogue sometimes. I would shape the characters.
Okay.
I was drawing the female character, he was drawing the male character.
Yeah.
And then it was the
Basically,
storyline was
guys were doing the PC thing. Men should draw men, women should draw women.
I don't think so, because we did kind of share the other extra characters. I think we just agreed like who's the hero here, who's the supervillain. I was like, I'm the villain, so he was like drawing the hero part of it, and I was pretty good with the whole supervillain thing. So after some time, because I was doing like food and nutrition, because I love food, I decided to go to the food class, even though there was an art class, that technical graphics one. So the word technical to me just made it sound boring. So I was I don't want to go there. But then a rumor had already stirred around the school about me being a good artist. That the technical graphics teacher was hunting for me. And he wanted me in his class so bad.
Really?
Yeah, I remember a day we were like at the labs, our lab where we used to do food and nutrition. And he came over to my teacher and I was like, can I please see Lisa? And she was like, she's in class right now. And he was like, it's very important. And then he was like, Lisa, I heard you're very good. And I saw your stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, quit this class. You're coming to my class. I was like, no, I don't want to come to your class. I love it here. They feed me all the time. So he was like, I assure you this is something you can do in your sleep. Cooking is easy, but I really want you in my class. So he was begging me. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And then my teacher and the technical graphics teacher ended up like having this beef, because I was also top 3 best in our class for food and nutrition. My friend Lovejoy was very competitive as well. So she was also part of that group. So my teacher was like, no, but that's my best student, please. No, that's not going to happen. And then until this thing was taken further, like the headmaster knew that something was happening in the school because of this thing. And till this day, I don't know why people were doing that. But okay. Comes this other time, I refused to go to technical graphics class. I was like, it's already like been more than a year. Why do you even want me there? Like, I don't want to start learning something completely different. And I heard that it's boring. So why? And he came this other time in the middle of class again. I think it was a comms class. He came in and was like, Lisa, there's this competition that's happening, and I know if you enter it, you're gonna win it. I'm like, no, I'm stressed about school. I don't want to hear about something you think 10% I might win. It's like, I know for a fact you're gonna win. Can you please come to technical graphics class and let us show you what we actually do there? And then I went there dragging my feet, and I was like really upset that this guy is raining on my parade. I'm actually enjoying my time studying other boring things like accounts and all that stuff. Then he took me to his class. I got there. I was introduced to a bunch of boys. It was a boys' class, by the way, and they were still like, "Oh, this is the girl." I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I was just there, and then they showed me what they do, and then I was like, "Okay, that looks cool. You guys can draw buildings in a cool perspective, but that's not what I'm looking for." And then they tried so hard to convince me, but I still didn't.
Okay.
And then it comes again and again and again. It started bugging me. And I was like, please enter the competition. And then one day I actually just like wanted this guy, out of my way. I just wanted it over with. Then I went with him to his class, started drawing. And then I was drawing like an A1 artwork. And then I went home. I had so much homework I couldn't finish. And then I went back to him and I was like, okay, this is what I did. I couldn't finish. So that art competition you were talking about, I'm sorry, I'm not going to enter. And then I was like, what? You're not going to enter? I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, there's no way. I'm going to cancel all your classes today. We're going to finish this. It was actually the deadline for that thing. It was the last day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way we're going to finish. And I was like, we're going to finish. And they actually did. He actually canceled my classes, and I was very upset. And I was like, does he know how much work? And when I had like 12 subjects, dude, I had 12. And I would have like so many classes in just one day. And then imagine there's notes, there's homework, there's all that class exercise stuff that you just missed. So I was very upset. Come the guy is like, okay, we really need to finish this. And I was like, there's no way we're going to finish. So whilst I was just there, an idea struck me. And I was like, do you have chalk? It was like, yeah. Colored chalk? And I said, yeah. Do you have dry paint? And I was like, yeah, we have dry paint. And then immediately I just took a pencil, started doing a whole Picasso thing on it.
Okay.
And then he was like, I see where you're going with this. And then I realized drawing with pencils was going to take forever. So that's why I needed chalk and paint and whatever and dry paint. So I started using my fingers to draw on the thingy. And then I finished it. And then I was like, yes. And it was like already late in the day. We didn't finish it in just like an hour. Already late in the day. At home, everything was cool. And funny enough, this art competition was for seniors in the school, like the A levels. Okay. And I was like Form 2.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even close to being 16 yet, I think. I think it was Form 1. Yeah, I was pretty much a freshman. And then I'm like, comes the time where the results were supposed to come in. They didn't, actually. And then I was like, darn it, this guy. I knew I wasn't supposed to trust him. He wasted my time.
Okay.
And then I completely forgot about it. Towards term, like the term was ending, it was like 2 or 3 months later. He comes to my class again. And he was like, everybody, I want you to stand up. I want you to start clapping your hands and applaud this girl. What did I tell you? I told you this girl was dangerous. And I'm like, please, no, not again. I just want to do my work. And I was freaking out. Please don't come here, please, please. And then he came and was like, I wish I could just lift you up and throw you in the air because I'm so proud of you. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you won. Oh my God, please, no. Please don't fuck with me, please. Not today.
Okay.
I was like, you think I'm kidding? We're actually going to the headmaster's office right now because he wants to see you. And I'm like, okay, let's go. I wasn't taking this seriously. I just decided, I'm like, let's just go have this over with.
Like imagine, imagine the upper sixes or the A-level students probably weren't good enough to win. And you're like Form 2, and you just show up, you draw something that's really good, and you win. And you're like, nah, I wasn't taking this seriously. This goes to show that maybe the guys in A-level just sucked.
I don't know if that's true.
This child,
I don't know.
This child can destroy us.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I don't know how they judge this stuff up there. But the name of the competition was no, I'm confusing it with another one. Okay, if I remember, I'll tell you.
Okay.
It was when I was in high school. It was actually a very, very famous competition that happened throughout Zim. Like everyone was talking about it. I didn't know everyone was talking about it actually. They had very talented judges, very popular, and Albert Nyati was one of them actually who was judging that competition.
Okay.
So fast forward, I get to the headmaster's office and I'm like, oh shit! I've never been to this guy's office. Oh my god, this is happening! I got scared because I wasn't sure if I did something wrong or if this is really. That's when it started sinking in that something is actually happening. And then I got there, two men in black suits stand up and they are greeting me, stretching out their hands, like, "Hey, are you Lisa?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." They're like, "Congratulations, They didn't tell me that I actually won. They told me that I was in the top 3.
Oh, okay.
And they had brought my artwork to confirm if it was mine. That I had to sign some documents and also get invitation letters. So that's how it was.
Wait, was there any payment?
There was gonna be prizes. There was actually gonna be a prize giving ceremony.
Okay.
Sort of like situation. So I had to invite people to come and all that. And then my headmaster was like, "You've done us proud." I'm like, "I don't know you, but it's fine."
Wow.
He was like, yeah, everyone used to laugh at my headmaster.
So basically, you're like the oblivious, dangerous person. You mind your own business, and you destroy.
I wanted to mind my own business, and people just wanted to get inside my business for some reason. And well, I was feeling weird over the situation because I didn't know how people were gonna take. Went back to class, told my friends, went back home to my family. They were like, "Wait, what? You're gonna be in this thing?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was pretty much scared how they were gonna take it, but they were super cool about it. Pretty much excited because there was gonna be a prize giving ceremony and stuff. That's when they were like, "Oh, this thing is serious." And there were gonna be like important people there, ministers and all that jazz. So it was a big thing. Fast forward to when the celebration thing happened, the whole prize giving ceremony thing. So I was like still not taking this thing serious. I was like, what if I'm just like last place? What if it's just one of those things where I got lucky. But I was actually late to this ceremony. When I got there, apparently I was the one who was keeping this thing from starting.
Really?
Funny enough, I wasn't taking this thing seriously, to be honest. This had never happened to me before. So I got there. I was driven there by car, so I went out, and then there was press at the place, and I started taking pictures. And I was like, "What the heck is happening?" And they were like, there was this white lady who came to me, and she's like, "Hey Lisa, my name is also Lisa. I'm gonna be showing you this." I'm like, "Oh, hey Lisa, okay, you can take a breath. It's fine. I'm here now." So everyone was so happy.
Hey, you should share this piece. I want to see it. Like people.
I don't have it. I signed off my rights, by the way, when I won this competition. It's somewhere there in Germany. That's what I know.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I signed it off. Yeah, I signed it off for cheap money. I'm pretty sure. So, that was part of the contract that whatever we created and we submitted, it wasn't going to be ours.
Okay.
So I guess there, the show was on the road. There was a gallery. I think I don't quite remember where this place was, but I just know it was in Harare. But then there was a gallery of some sort at this place where this thing was hosted. Then they started showing us around. Then there was a small podium behind this tiny building, and then we went there, and then that's when the ceremony started.
Okay.
And then they had categories that were going on there, like poetry, essay writing, and then comes the art category, right?
Yeah.
And the lady who was speaking, I think it was a minister's wife, I think creative arts or something. And then she was like, I'm very proud to like present this category, like it's my favorite. Specifically, there's someone that I was eyeing that's here today. So I'm like, okay, cool, this person must be pretty good, hey? Like people are really excited for this person. And then they're like, now it's time to announce the prices and positions and stuff. And then they were like, third prize to Machine Go. I'm like, wow. And I was like, wait, does that mean if third prize goes to Machine Go, I'm probably second? And they're like, second, Victoria Falls. And then automatically I took the first prize. And I remember that year, the thing I wanted most was a laptop. And there was a big laptop box that came with it. With, I don't care what else came, but I was eyeing a laptop. And then when my name was called out, I saw this person coming out with a huge box with all kinds of things with it, but I was eyeing the laptop. I was like, wait, does this mean this thing is mine? Because I wanted to get into digital art so bad, and I wanted a personal laptop. And then I won the thing.
Wow.
After so much doubt. When I saw the laptop, that's when I was like, okay. So I won this thing. It was a very interesting moment because my parents were there, but then they didn't even get to like come to me at that point. Like this minister's wife was taking pictures with me as if she was my parent.
Yeah.
Like my parents didn't even stand a chance.
Mm.
It was very interesting. It was one of the best moments of my entire life. It was a very busy day as well because there were people from press that wanted to have interviews with me, and it was very very nice. It was a very nice experience. But yeah, that's the biggest part. And then my technical graphics teacher, that's when he finally talked to my parents, because I had told him that I can't do this thing, I'm not allowed to. And then that's when he told that you must invest in her talents, right? That's when they became open-minded to the whole thing.
Because they needed someone else.
Yeah, so
voice of reason.
Yeah, they needed someone else to tell them.
So okay, so just to digress a bit, so would you say this technical graphics guy like played a huge role in like your direction, and also in influencing your parents into accommodating your desire to pursue art? Maybe at the time you're in high school, so I'm pretty sure they weren't thinking of it as a career properly.
He was actually.
Oh.
He played an important role. He was a huge catalyst because after that, that's when I was like, if someone from outside is willing to gamble with this thing and tell me that, hey, you're really good, then he probably saw something that I myself can't see personally. So I have mad respect for him, because after that, he would take time off to like get me like books, because I couldn't attend his class after all.
Okay.
But then what he would do is just like give me a bit of homework here and there, so that he wouldn't disturb my studies. But then he played a very, till this day, I'm still looking for him. he really, I want to tell him that, hey, I'm actually making a living out of this thing now. Because after high school, like, certain things did happen during high school and stuff that I didn't go to A level, to be honest.
Wait, you didn't go to A level?
Yeah. I didn't.
Wait, why? Okay, so for people, I guess people who are not used to the, I guess, Zimbabwean, or I guess, I know South Africa's education system is different, right? Do they do A levels?
They do grades.
They do grades, okay.
That's how they
anyway, so I'll just speak of what I know. So to our audience, for those who don't understand how our education system works, generally when you turn, I think 13, that's when, so you have primary school, where like you're pre-adolescent. Then you have high school. So high school starts when you're, I think, 13 years old. That's when you're Form 1 up to Form 6. So like for high school, generally when you get to Form 4, like the fourth level, you take these exams that, like, if you pass them, then you can progress to A levels. Then once you do your A levels, whatever subjects you focus on will determine what you can then apply for in university or whatever. That's usually how it works. But anyways, let's get back to you, Lisa. So based on what you said like, okay, apart from you failing maths, which does happen to most people, so I'm pretty sure you were also excelling in other subjects. So I'm actually surprised that you didn't.
Yeah, I was. It's a pretty sensitive topic, because things just started going south towards the end of my O levels. Like, there was a whole lot of like family issues that kind of disturbed my school, and for the most part, my Form 4, I was homeschooling.
Okay.
So I didn't get to like mingle with other kids that much in those times. So it was a pretty dark time for me. That explains why I felt like maths and stuff. So other side, I ended up writing 10 subjects and I failed 2 and I got 8. So that moment, I actually cried when I got my results. Because I was so disappointed. Also the fact that it took me I had to fight for me to get those results, dude. So it was a whole lot of things that just kind of weren't working out at that time, that kind of contributed to like a whole catastrophe happening concerning my school and family and all that. So most people don't actually know this type of stuff that I'm telling you outside of like my family or whatever. So
are you comfortable sharing it? No.
It's okay.
Right,
it's okay. It's just reminiscing and all that. You get to look at like how you started and where you are now, and you're like, oh shit, this is real, dude. So I would say it's interesting actually hearing myself talk about it now, because it was dark times at that time. It was very uncertain about so many things. I actually didn't want to get my results. I didn't want anything to do with them. But my older sister convinced me to get them, so we actually collected them together. And I cried in front of my headmaster when he showed. He was like, "Lisa, you passed." I was like, "What? What is this? Take it back! I don't want it." It's just so disappointed. But I had to learn to just accept it as time went on. But this made me like come to a decision that I probably should think before I take a step further in like going to A level, because the last thing I wanted was sitting down and rewriting, like going back to like to rewrite whilst everyone else is continuing in school.
Okay.
That was the problem that I had. It just made me feel weird.
Oh wait,
So I
you
decided
had passed
to sit it
but
out.
you had passed. So why would you have to rewrite if you had passed?
It wasn't what I wanted.
Oh, so like the subjects that you excelled at weren't the ones that you wanted to do for your A-levels.
You know, let me put it this way. Imagine you're really good at something and everybody knows you are, right? But then you fail. That's like a kick straight right to the balls, man.
Right, well, if you had balls, I'm pretty sure you'd understand.
Well, I do get what you mean, though,
Yeah,
about you're really good at something and then something happens. A similar thing happened to me when I was doing my A levels. I was really good at divinity, and I used to like coach people divinity, and the people that I coached ended up getting like C's. One got a B, one got an A, and I ended up getting an O. And then everyone looked at me like, "What the fuck happened?" And then I had to go to Zimsec and say that what the fuck was happening. Then they're like, oh, then I ended up finding the story that my results were swapped with some government kids, some higher up kids' results, and they said I shouldn't dig deep. And then I said, oh, do you know who my connections are? Do you think that this guy's got something? Then I ended up using executive comrade powers for them to get me back my results. So it ended up working, but then it was one of those things where like it got me so bad that I didn't want to be doing anything like anymore. Like I knew I wasn't good at literature. I was actually surprised that I passed it like real good. I think I got a C. So I was just like, oh wow, I was actually clueless in the exam. But then with divinity, I knew everything, and then I failed. I was like, what the fuck? But then such is life.
I guess like I think when you're younger, like because usually you're the whole world. I think maybe your abilities like mean a lot to you, so it's like so good. But I guess because like after you take because like after you like take a number of L's, I think you kind of like get a bit of resistance. But then again, like, people deal with shit in their own way. Right, so okay, getting back to you. So the results that you got weren't satisfactory, and you were questioning whether you wanted to do your A levels. Then you didn't end up doing your A levels. So what happened? Like what did you do then? Like, did you go to like a polytechnic college, or like what did you do?
Not at all at first.
Worked at a strip club, right?
Oh my god, I was so innocent then. I will tell you, like, that wasn't even part of it. I was very reserved, pretty much a hermit. I tell you, like.
So you're those reserved call girls. Okay, don't be shy. This is an audio gangbang after all.
Oh wow, we went from sentimental to sexual. Okay, thank you, Mr. Enemy Prophet. You've ruined.
Okay.
You ruined the emotional arc of this interview.
Before you go crazy on that, what just happened was that I got depressed, very depressed. Depressed is beyond depressed. Like I asked myself, what's the meaning of life? Because that's the only. I was really good, and then that was the only thing I was good at. School was like what made me who I was. Like that's where I spent most of my time, and that's where my friends were. And now everyone else is, moving on to the next stage of life, and I'm still in the same position. Then what am I supposed to do? Because that's the problem with. I don't want to point out in general. And say, hey, all Zimbabwean parents are like that, or that's how the system is. But to some extent, it's really true. Our system is based on academics, sports, then creativity is at the bottom. So I think now they're starting to like try to change things and balance them a bit. But when I grew up, it wasn't like that. It was academics first. So like, parents would be so happy if their kid had like 10 A's. They'll go crazy. But then sometimes those with other talents aren't as appreciated. They don't tend to invest in that. So imagine if this investment happened earlier in the early stages, then it might have been somewhere else. So I got really depressed, went into a really dark place because I was very confused. Because once you're done with, I don't know, high school or A levels, they just tell you have to go to university and study what you want, but they don't really tell you why you were busting your ass off all this time. It's just, oh, you go to university and you get a job. But now I think we're all starting to learn that it doesn't work that way. You should always have the plan A and the plan B.
Yeah, especially like if you live in Zim, because nowadays the people actually make a lot of money, or people doing side hustles, and like a taxi driver making more than a guy who's working at a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how real things are now. Like, there's nothing special about having a job.
To be honest, we're now on the same even playing field. Imagine someone who didn't even go to school is making more money than you. So
yeah,
what you're gonna say now, you and your bachelors, go use them somewhere else. But not shaming those who have their bachelors. Or
no, of course, it's important, but just know that it's not the only means. It's because like I think generally with jobs, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to digress a bit. This is me going on a tangent. Generally, like, it's like doing freelance work versus doing, what's it called? Being an in-house guy. Because, like, when you're in-house, like, the boss or whatever the company will have, like, a static, like, salary. Like, it comes every, like, if you're not making an effort to, like, screw yourself and, like, literally get yourself fired, you will have and money will always come end of the month or whatever, like payment plan you've arranged with the company. But the thing is, it'll be like peanuts. It won't be a lot unless if you're like in a high position. And usually, from what I've noticed, the high positions are like people in the marketing department or people who do like sales and client acquisition. They usually get a lot of money as compared to people who actually do like grunt work and do like what makes things tick. But if you're doing like freelance, or like assuming your people know that you exist and they're going to you frequently, you can charge a lot, or you could make you could make someone's salary in a day in Zim if you wanted to. That's how bad things are.
Yeah, that's very, very much true. Like if someone listening to this podcast wants to be a parent one day, I'll just say don't overlook your kids' talents. It kind of stunts their growth. If you're planning to be supportive, go all out 100%. So academics isn't just everything. Some are good and some are not so bright at it. So yeah.
All right, cool. So you said that you were dealing with depression over not getting like the grades that you wanted.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I was. So that's when my mom suggested I should because my mom works here in SA. She was like, "Hey, Lisa, you should probably come over here to have a holiday. You wrote your exams, you had a tough time. You probably should just do that." And then I decided to go on a long holiday, and that holiday turned to me actually staying here
in South Africa.
Yeah, that's how.
When did this start, though? Like when did you finish? Like, what year was this?
2012, 2013, there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. So whilst I was here, one day I just decided to check out colleges. Right. I felt like I had unfinished business, and this time I told my mom that I actually feel like studying something closely related to animation. But damn, the animation schools here, they cost an arm and a leg. You have to sell some organs for you to study here.
Okay.
Considering that I didn't have anything saved up for college, so But then what I managed to study was media and graphic design. That was the course that was available, that I was able to get.
You did that where?
Here in South Africa, in Johannesburg. It's actually, the school's like literally 5 minutes away from where I live.
Okay. What was the name of the actual school?
Demlin College.
Okay.
Or as they like to call it here, Demalin.
Okay.
But yeah, it was interesting because now I went back to doing what I loved most, being at school and studying, because I'm actually a very avid reader. I love reading as much as I'd say I love drawing. Pretty much both worlds, to be honest. So I studied graphic design, finished this year.
Wait, you finished this year?
Finished this.
Wait, how long was
it? 2016 when I started.
Wait, wait, you finished. Okay, so let's get like the timelines correct. So you finished your was it 2012 or 2013?
Between the two, I think it's 2013.
Okay,
not
so
let's just sit on.
Okay, so you started going to that college in 2016. So in between 2013 and 2016, what were you doing?
I was in a hole somewhere. The bunny was in a hole somewhere.
Jerking off.
Waiting to die. What's your problem?
Most people deal with depression. Depression that way, like gooey liquids.
The other 2 years, I was literally doing nothing. So I would also draw here.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure.
Also jerking off?
No, I'm. It's normal.
Did you say drawing?
She's a human being. It happens. Okay, so tell me, so basically, for 2 years, you were a hikikomori. You
I was very much.
You were shut in. You wouldn't leave the house, and people were wondering, what are you doing?
I shut off. You know what happened? I actually shut off the whole world, completely. I wasn't leaving my gate. The only time that I actually leave the house was when I desperately needed to go shopping for groceries.
Alright, so
that's how it.
So was this triggered by your depression?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't like people after that. I felt like I had committed a crime of some sort. That even on my phone, I didn't talk to a lot of people, and it was bad. People don't understand that thing is pretty much dangerous. I was sick and I didn't know I was sick. That's how bad it was, until my sister came, and then she was like, dude, you do not look well. You look like a walking corpse, mate. Let me take you to a doctor and see what's happening. And then when I got there, the doctor was mad at me. It was like, how old are you and why do you want to kill yourself? You should be taking care of yourself. I'm like, oh well, let me just die. I lost all purpose. And he was really mad at me that I actually would have just dropped any time because my blood pressure was so low. And he was asking me, how are you still walking?
So sorry to cut you off there.
Bad, yeah.
So you said that you had lost your purpose. So at the time when you were still in high school, was your purpose to get good grades? Or did you have an overall goal that you had in mind? What exactly did you want to do before you even ended up doing the art stuff? What was in your mind?
I think what I wanted was just to, be the best of the best. And I initially wanted to become a marine biologist or a vet,
That sounds super lofty. Yeah, marine biologist, becoming a pilot, becoming a lawyer. Yeah.
I wanted to be a porn director, to be honest.
And how's that working for you?
I found out it was not a very good job, and those were dark times during my childhood. Okay, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. Alright, cool. So basically you wanted to be the best, and because you couldn't get like the best grades, it just shattered like that idea of yourself that you had. Like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to is a crush and she just destroys, but she didn't end up getting like those awesome grades. And like I guess maybe as a young person you had trouble trying to confront those feelings, the expectations of yourself versus like what actually ended up happening. Is that
yeah, there were so many expectations running on this. And funny enough, before I even moved here, when I was told to like, you know, start like doing things that I like slowly, like going out, having coffee. Oh my god. So I was told to do like activities that would slowly get me back to being around people.
Okay.
It was one of the things that I was supposed to do to like make me feel better.
Okay.
So there was a time when I went into town, there's the National Arts Gallery. I'm pretty sure everyone is aware that pretty much lives in their way of this thing existing. So I used to go there. There was a coffee, there was a barista thing happening in there. They used to make really good tea and coffee. So there was this spot by the window where I used to sit in there and read books. So this was me trying to get back to interact with other human beings. But though I was lucky, because not a lot of people went there. And the only people who were there were usually just by the offices upstairs. There was also an art class. I remember asking them about, you know, attending classes and stuff, that they even offered me to like even attend for, you know, first few classes for free. And that was quite interesting, considering that I didn't want anything to do with people. I was not afraid of being like in the same room with like 2 or 3 people that I didn't know. One day randomly, like in those times when I was having my usual tea or coffee or whatever, one of the people that worked there who was an artist passed through, and then they saw me doodling on my art pad. They're like, "Hey, you like drawing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." So we started having a conversation, and then one thing led to another. They gave me a ticket. They gave me a ticket to a Coma Exposed thing. You know, it's like, I think it was the first one in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if there was one before that, but Coma Exposed, the first Comic Con I attended was in 2015, I think. I'm just gonna leave it there and say 2015.
Okay.
So they gave me a free. It was 2015, right?
Yeah, it was 2015.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd know it. This is your life history.
Yeah, it is actually. How all of this stuff happened. So I had already given up on art and whatever, but then one day I just decided to doodle, and then this person comes, they like what they see, and they give me a ticket, and they told me this person, they gave me Eugene's number. You know, Eugene's number, to be honest, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. They're like, if you get lost, call those people, and then when you get to the gate, just call those people. They'll come and they'll attend to you. They're good people. So I was like, oh, okay, a Comic-Con in them. I was pretty surprised. I was really surprised. But even before that, there was an exhibition that was happening in that gallery that next weekend, and I was also given a free pass to attend this thing. So that was my first exhibition thing that I ever attended. And then whilst I was there, I also met a couple artists that I had never met before. I was like really surprised that art is actually a big thing in Zim, even though it might not seem like it's as big as other things out there. But I was surprised that a lot of people actually congregate and then, you know, talk about stuff that I'm interested in. There comes the Comic-Con thingy. I actually did manage to go, and then first person I met was Eugene. It was very accommodating. Like, he got there, was like, oh, interesting, you're here for the con. You know, he showed me around, you know, introduced me to Tino, and I was introduced to James. After that, I was introduced to Dan and I. Like, it was, I was shocked to see this whole thing happening, because I didn't think that there were even geeks that existed in Zim. I actually thought I was the only person who was crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that happens when you're in isolation. You think that you're alone.
So that also sparked my interest. They contributed greatly to where I am right now. Considering the fact that when I went there, I don't know why, but I decided to carry my art file with me. And when I was there, I don't know how it happened, but I decided to show the guys that I just met my stuff. And they were like, what? You draw this? And then James was like, quickly, hey, do you want to exhibit at my table? I was like, well, exhibit at your table, because this guy had like legit stuff, you know, legit merch on his table, printed and everything. And I'm like, holy mama, what? So it was good times. Like, these guys are like the catalyst to where I am right now, because after that I went back to the drawing board. I was like, so exactly what do I want to do for a living? What do I just want to carry on with the flow or break the flow? Because the flow was going to be me going back to school, probably rewriting maths, you know, and then be like, okay, now I'm going to study my A levels, and then now I'm going to go to university and study medicine of some sort. So that was going to be the flow.
Wait,
but,
wait, you're still planning on... Wait, okay, I'm confused. You said marine biologist. Now you're saying you're going to go back to school and study medicine?
So I'm saying then, before I moved here, right?
Oh, okay.
That was what was being suggested. Either study something completely different or rewrite maths. So I didn't want to be part of that flow because it didn't feel right to me anymore.
Okay.
So, like, after even seeing the Comic Expo stuff, that's when I was starting to consider taking like art seriously as a potential career. And then when I got here, that's when I got lucky, you know, with the whole college stuff. It wasn't prepared, it wasn't planned, it just happened. I was very lucky. I'm a very lucky person sometimes. I wonder how those things happen. And then initially I just wanted to study animation, but then I ended up studying graphic design because I was told that was the closest thing I could go for because they had that as well. But then whilst I was there in college, you know, studying my first year, it felt like the stuff that I was learning, I had already taught myself those things. Not sounding like I'm putting myself on a high pedestal.
Yeah, it's okay. I know you're a genius. You
no.
You figure out things before they're taught.
It's like this, you know. I started looking at tutorials on YouTube, right? Before I started college, I wanted to go
Was
back
this
to
during
drawing.
the 2 years of bumming around?
That was after when I moved here.
Oh, okay.
Because when I was in swim, I wanted nothing to do with anything. I was pretty much like dead inside.
Oh, okay.
So
South Africa just
yeah.
saved you.
Yeah, it actually did save me.
Okay.
If I didn't get that holiday, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Okay.
So it was like a new start for me. Yeah. So college was very interesting because I think when I went there, I had my own expectations that were shut down when I started like my first year. First couple months were great, until it really got boring.
What were your expectations?
My expectations were just like, I don't know. I had this utopia like already written out, like college life. You're gonna meet other artists with the same passion as you. You know, they're gonna bring out the best in you. You know, that competitive nature came back. It's what keeps my blood boiling and pumping.
Yeah, you sound like a shonen character.
Really excited.
I want to face the best of the best. Yeah. That Dragon Ball Z stuff.
It was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like there, and first couple months it was good until it was like, I don't want to make it sound weird, okay? But then I was there, things were stale. Like a few months down the line, I was not having the competition that I wanted. Where is the fun? Where, by fun I mean, where are like-minded people like me?
So basically, no one was interested in drawing blood. We were like, hey, we're learning together.
No, like sometimes you'd ask the other students, exactly what are you trying to achieve with studying this thing? The answers you would get from there would demotivate you. You're like, okay.
Like, I'm just doing this.
Yeah, no, there were
to pass
a couple
the time.
people that I actually became friends with for life. There are a couple people who were like-minded, a very small circle. But after some time, it came.
Yeah. So I'm noticing a pattern, like throughout, like your I guess your life story. There's the issue of dealing with expectations of like your grades and expectations of the institution. It's going to provide you, I guess, education or tools to empower you, so that you have competitive skills to get you hired. Like, in an animation studio or whatever organization you decide to work for, or maybe a design agency. And I'm guessing after a while you realize that, hey, even things can become flaccid, like there and limp.
When you're hearing these things and you hear people say, yeah, you have to go to art school, but yeah, because a lot of people still think like that you have to go to art school. Back then, like, internet wasn't as how it is now. Yeah. Now you can find any resource online. Back then, when we were in high school, there was no such thing.
No, not to be a Bobby Chu shill, but schoolism, as an arts, like for as an arts, it's super affordable, and you get guys like let me think, Ian McCaig, the guy who did most of the character designs for Star Wars, the Phantom Menace. I know that a lot of people are not a big fan of the prequel movies, but we have to at least give respect where it's due. Those character designs were pretty awesome, like Darth Maul, Queen Amadillo, and EGC. But like generally, like if you go to schoolism, I sound like a show, but I'm just saying, like generally, like you're learning from the best of the best, and you either pay like $30 a month, or you can do that like once off yearly payment where like you get like uh, I think you end up paying like 300 or 299 instead of I think it should be in total would be 360 if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not messing up my maths, like 12 times 30 is 360, right? I'm putting you on the spot, sorry. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's a lot. Like, even if you don't end up like going for something like schoolism, which I think out of all the items, like the most affordable. It's like if you check out stuff like Newman or Brainstorm or even Learn Squared, like I think Ash Thorpe and I think Mache Sierra's like maybe like their online art school, Learn Squared. It's pretty high level. Like you get to learn like a lot of high level stuff. But that one is a bit like it's a bit expensive. It's on a higher price range. So if you're a working professional, I'm pretty sure you'd afford that. But generally speaking, with the existence of like all this information, and also mind you, you're being taught by people who work on these big movies. It's not like some random dude who probably was good in art and decided to teach people as a profession, and then ended up just phoning it in. Because the thing is, with any institution, maybe college, TC, you always have those people who are just phoning it in. They're not really that good, and then you have to supplement with either tutorials or that kind of thing. So yeah, we're in a good era where like you don't have to actually go to art school. I mean, I think the only reason why you'd want to go to institution, especially if you're concerned about living abroad, is that if let's say you only live in other countries, if you have like a degree or like that certificate, it makes it easier for you to get like a work permit. Because like unlike because the thing is, the government doesn't care about your skills. Like if let's say you apply to get a job at Riot Games, or like let's say if you're good enough to get hired by Riot or any of those big companies, they'll look at your portfolio, they'll think you're dope, they'll go through the interview process, they'll arrange things. But for you to actually get like a work permit, or or the government of the country you wish to go reside in, for them to approve you need to have something like a proof of your competence. Because like it's either you prove it through like your qualification or whatever degree you have, or you have to do that whole thing where you get testimonials from different organizations and you have to prove that, hey, this person did this and that. Like it varies from country to country. Because I think in the USA it's pretty intense. I know like in Japan you kind of need to have a degree for them to give you like a work permit. In other countries they're a bit lax, but it all depends. Like I don't know if you intend on like maybe after the coronavirus stuff like chills, because I know that America right now is like seems like a death trap because they have a lot of cases in terms of the coronavirus. But but just generally going back to the whole point of like online resources, like if you're really disciplined and serious, I guess just good internet connection, you could either look for the free resources, or if you're a pirate, you just torrent people's Gumroads and just watch them. And then maybe in the future when you meet the artist, you're like, your course has really helped me. I never paid for any of them, but thank you.
Yeah, that's how it is now. It's more or less like it depends on how hard you really want these things. If you're laxed, then it's just gonna take longer for you.
Yeah,
but that's what happened in terms of college. It was not what I expected, to be honest. Maybe I needed the really expensive schools like Vega or something, but then the money was in vain. So I ended up taking like a gap year in 2017. I actually moved to Zim. I worked January to like May, I think. All I wanted to do, the reason why I worked was because I wanted to raise money to buy a drawing tablet.
Oh, okay.
So I decided to work after my money was like enough. I quit the job I was working as a bartender at this hotel that I actually became. Yeah, I was actually popular there, but then I decided that the job was too demanding at times, especially during holidays and whatnot. So I decided to quit and then move back to Sim. I had my drawing tablet. That's when I interned for Mech Animation Studios and Tino, and there was also Tate, attending Dove, and Prudence Chikak was also she came in later though. So during that year, it was one of my best times because whilst I was at my gap year, whilst I was during this gap year, that's when I interned, and then I learned quite a lot of stuff because in school I didn't really see myself going to the whole graphic design realm, that sort of like design side of things. Even though I was good at it, but that's not what I wanted. I still wanted to do character designs and concept art. That's where my eye on the prize was. So interning there for a couple of months, it was great actually. I learned quite a lot. That when I went back, the class that I was in had already moved to like a year ahead of me, so I had to learn with new people. But then even when it happened, it was still the same case. But the reason why I returned was that my mom was like, are you sure you really want to throw away all that money that you
that we paid for you to learn?
It wasn't like she was angry at me. She was like really worried that she just wanted me to just finish what I had started. So that was what was happening. So I decided to finish what I had started. I was actually supposed to graduate in May. Then because of the corona stuff, everything was put on hold, and I highly doubt we're gonna get an actual proper graduation ceremony. I think we're gonna get our certificates. That's what's just gonna happen.
So basically you graduated, like you now have your, is it a degree or a diploma?
No, I haven't, because of the corona thing.
No, I mean like, so
yeah, I was supposed to.
So it's a bachelor's in what, media and graphic design, right? Oh, congrats.
Yeah. But then I have to wait until I have the stuff in my hands. We can't just live without congratulations without us.
I mean, like I have my Adobe certifications, and I get my digital certificate. I don't actually get it mailed to me, so it makes no difference as long as I know it exists and there's proof that I aced my shit. So I'm cool.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But in terms of my skills currently, or how I came to this, like, to be honest, most of it was done from self-study, watching lots of YouTube tutorials, learning to do that whole thing of creating a visual library. And my lectures are great, though the one that I had was very strict last year, but the other one before really appreciated my artwork. She was a real good fan. But then after all that, my school also had a lot of politics happening, so it kind of also disturbed how things were being run. So it all came down to me just doing it by myself. So my skills are like self-taught. I'm a self-taught artist.
But you're a trained designer.
Yes. I'm a trained designer, but a self-taught artist.
Ah, cool. So
Yeah, it was pretty cool though.
I know like your passions are more into concept art, but do you actually enjoy doing design?
I do, you know,
That
if
sounds like
I
a weak
have
idea. Yeah.
no, I do, but it depends with what it is.
Okay.
Because I still feel weird about the whole thing because especially last year I was being rushed to make a decision between your typical design and illustration, right?
Okay.
Because here in SA it's very competitive. People think it's easy here. It's same playing field. It's just like it's way complicated because there are a lot of people who are way better than you, who have already eyed this position like a long time ago before you even decided that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I know
Right.
that South Africa is very competitive, even like generally when it comes to design. Okay, well, their appreciation and of like the craft is way better than the appreciation here shows like in the quality of work, because they don't play around.
Yes.
Take it seriously.
They don't play.
Because like when you look at it,
Yeah,
you can tell that the fundamentals are there. They understand their like the spacing patterns. They even like the typography, the way they do the kerning, the way they do like. There's a lot of stuff that they really take seriously as compared to here, where we're used to shitty design. Even like our even like the main like local channels NBC. Sound like the graphic design that you see for like a state-owned like channel. It's embarrassing. We usually expect something that's at a high if it's associated with like with the state, but I don't know. It is what it is. I remember I was listening, but I think okay, I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole for far too long. But I remember they were playing, I think, Hans Zimmer's like music from I think Inception, but I think they just did, and they did some weird distortion or had like some effect. I don't know whoever was playing the music, and they did that during like some live session that the president was giving like a speech. Oh, like when you hear that, and you literally like your face palming. Like, is this happening? It's happening. It's really there's nothing like
topic on its own.
Yeah. So yeah, we are not even competing with SA guys. There are only a few guys who like I guess making an effort to get there. Because like I'm in a group with the designers, like some who live in SA, who are really good. Like people who like they pull their weight, they shine. It's like it's even though it's really intense and competitive, I think you need that pressure for you to improve. Because like Zim.
They're trying. They're trying to go.
No, that's not true. They're being destroyed.
But yeah, in SE, it's just know these guys are ruthless good side. So, so it's a very competitive field here when it comes to the whole creative and design field. Industry the design industry, they really take their stuff seriously, and I would say that I was like, I don't see myself working for a corporate company, right?
Okay.
Because that's not what I want. I don't want to be working in an office doing branding or design. That was like last year. Because it's going to take me longer to reach my goal. And my goal is to work in a game design studio.
Okay.
That's my goal.
All right, so
Yeah,
let's
I don't really
let's circle back a bit, because like we kind of touched on like your educational experience. We didn't really delve that much into like your work experience, apart from the fact that you worked in a bar and you like so that you saved up so that you could buy like a drawing tablet, if I'm not mistaken.
So when it comes to my working experience,
Yeah.
I started doing freelance work when I was in college. You know,
Mhm.
here and there I'll do freelance work, and then I did internship for Make Animation,
Okay.
and then I interned again for a company called Ubu Touch. It's
So
here
what?
in SA. Ubu Touch.
Ubuntu.
Like yeah, Ubu
Okay.
Touch. So they're like a home automation system, you know, that connects your devices to your house. That's sort of like cool next gen stuff, you know.
Okay. So what exactly were you doing there? Like, what was your role?
I was their designer, so I was specifically working on website design.
Okay.
You know, not anything back end. Oh, I suck at that.
Oh, okay. So
But
you're just doing front end, so HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript.
not even that complicated stuff. I wasn't even doing anything too hectic, but yes.
Okay, so you're just doing like mock-ups of like what the final result.
Yeah, what it would look like.
Okay, so basically
And
you're
then
doing
they
the
would
UI
take
design.
it and try it out. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was work, and then like after that I started also like getting more into freelance work.
Okay.
That's how I gained my experience. It was never anything officially in the office for too long. And currently I'm also interning for a game design company, also doing UI work. So that's been my experience in terms
Okay.
of work.
What's the name of the company that you're working for? That you're interning for?
It's called Almika Technologies. It's actually based in Tunisia, if I'm not mistaken. They also
based in
have like, yeah, they also have
branches
Joburg
offices in South Africa.
But because of the Corona thing, I have to work from home.
Oh, cool. That's probably the safest thing you could do.
Yeah, but it's been interesting. You know, considering all the stuff that's been happening.
Right.
But I would label myself more of a freelancer. I do get a lot of freelance graphic design work.
Okay.
You know, it's a 50-50 with illustration, specifically illustration and graphic design work. It's 50-50. So it really makes it hard for me to know exactly which route I should take. But right now I'm more leaning towards the illustration side, because for me to be able to master the skills that I want to use later in my career, I should make sure that I build them now, because the problem with that industry is that your skills do the talking, right?
Yeah.
That's what's up with concept art and character designs and whatnot. That one, they can even look at your portfolio without even looking at your degree or whatever.
Well, to be fair, like generally, even though I know people will go through institutions, but to be fair, like no one really like because like that industry, the creative industry, as compared to stuff like maybe doing law or accounting or any of the typical white collar jobs, like the creative industry, like no one really cares about your diploma degree. Like remember like what I said like if you're trying to work abroad in a particular country where you need like credentials so that you can get a work permit, but an art director or any person is going to hire you, they're just going to look at your work. The proof is in the pudding, because no one cares. Literally, they do not care. It would actually be embarrassing if, let's say, you went to the most prestigious art or design school where like have like superstar alumni, and they look at your portfolio and it's not good enough. Like literally, they'll probably blacklist you and think you're shit, and that you'd have to look for another job prospect at that point. So yeah, generally, yeah, it's your portfolio. Now, no one, like, trust me, no one cares. Like even like where I work, they just looked at my portfolio, and that was all I needed. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's just the way it is.
Mm.
Still in that fight whether I should, but I'm not saying I'm completely scratching off the whole idea of working in a design field. I'm pretty much still doing that right now because I work as a UI designer.
And how are you finding that that side? Do you enjoy it, or it's you more like you're just doing it to? Okay, you can choose to answer this or not, depending on who's listening. Because maybe your employers are going to be listening to this. Like, what? You don't care? You're just doing it for kicks?
You think time is that useless? Doing it for kicks? Oh, great! No, I'm doing it for experience sake because if you're looking at YouTube videos and tutorials every day and be great, but then at the end of the day, you're gonna need that experience.
Yeah, you need to actually do it yourself.
Yeah, you need to actually put all that stuff you've been learning into some sort of like practical sense, because you have to learn to work with the team and the pipeline system and having to adjust to work ethics of a certain company and all that stuff. So experience is quite important, no matter how good or talented you are. Unless you decide to be like self-employed, then you be your own boss.
Yeah, definitely. Because like when because like the thing about UI, well, I'm pretty sure even with concept art, because like generally you make something, someone has to go through it. You make multiple versions, someone has to approve it. Then you get like the final concept. But I think with UI as well, you're working with programmers, and it also depends on what they're using. If, for instance, like at my job, before like the developers moved from using this thing called native script to using something called Flutter, native script was restrictive. So basically, like there are certain things that were fixed in how you'd have to design the UI, and you had to design around it and make sure it's good. So basically, like you were like designing and you had like shackles, like literally limiting you. And of course, those shackles were lifted when they decided to like use something else. But generally, it's like you learn to like work with the engineers, people who actually have to code, make sure things work. But at the same time, you also have to work around the parameters they've set for you. Like, hey, I know this design looks good, but if we do it this way, it'll have like a side. I think it's the same with, I think, what's it called? Like whenever they do like video games, sometimes they limit or cap the graphics because frame rate drops. If they were to go beyond, then the game would be unplayable. It would look nice, but it would be unplayable. Which people want to have fun. They're not just concerned about graphics.
True, very true.
All right, cool. So you said that you want to lean more towards game design. So does it mean like you're like, so like doing concept art for video games? So does it mean like you're a gamer, you're into video games? Like that's your shtick?
Hells yeah, man. Yeah, I've been a gamer all my life, man. Ever since I was born. Yeah, for those
ever since you were born.
I came out with the joystick. Yeah, I came out with the joystick.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I've been gaming ever since, like from the old classics like Mario,
Okay.
even Mid Dave. How many people know Mid Dave? Like the one we played on the PC. Like,
I have no idea what that is.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
Although to be
yeah.
quite honest, I was mostly an Xbox guy. I played PlayStation games. Yeah.
PlayStation kiddo. Now,
Yeah.
I started on PC before going into PlayStation.
Okay.
PlayStation. I did play PlayStation. Still, we still have it. We have a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4. But that's
Yeah.
like back in Zone. Here I don't have any consoles whatsoever.
Okay.
But when I'm home, we game. We're like a gamer family. From my dad,
Oh, he jams?
to the youngest one. Yeah, he does jam.
What does he jam?
He's the one who got me into playing games.
Okay. Does he since he's a military guy, does he play Call of Duty?
I'm not sure right now if he's what he's playing, but he does jam. Obviously they pretty much have that sort of stuff at work. So.
Wait, your dad's a military guy?
You're late to the party. Yeah, he is.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, daughter of a soldier.
I am.
I should now watch what I say to you because I do not want to get abducted.
Yeah, you might disappear anytime because you don't know what he actually does. But yeah, we're a gamer family. We even play geek games like board games. I can play chess. I can actually play chess. I was chess captain at my high school.
I'm sure you were. I mean, literally, you were like a super. Yeah.
Yeah. So currently, what I mainly play is I play League of Legends.
Okay. Yeah, you're part of the LOL craze.
Yeah, I play LOL. That's the game right there. That's the poison because it's easily accessible on my laptop.
Yeah.
But because of school, I haven't been able to go in deep and play a lot of games because when I was in Sim, that's when we would actually follow up on our favorite games. Uncharted, COD, Mortal Kombat. I'm actually disappointed that I didn't get to play Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, what do you think of what's it called? The Last of Us 2.
I'm not done watching the gameplay. It's very good. I'm loving it. It's very long though because of working and stuff. I have to watch it here and there.
Okay.
I watched this guy called the Rad Brad.
Yeah,
he's a very chilled guy. So I've been watching him play The Last of Us. I think he's now done playing it. Yeah. It's just that it will take time for me to finish it because all those hours of gameplay. Yeah. But it's really, really, really good right now.
Yeah. So basically, the reason why I was asking you about your games, like your interest in games, because clearly you do have an interest. I'm guessing you're more concerned about having an impact in the actual designs of characters and maybe concepting the world and having an influence on 3D modelers. I actually have to make the worlds and using the in-game engine or whatever respective company you decide to work with. Is that what you want to dabble into, or you're just curious and you want to see how you fit yourself in that kind of pipeline where you do the concept art, gets approved, 3D modeler models, whatever you designed, and gets into the game, and wow, the concepts are actually being used.
I think it's more like this. Because it started with something like this before I started doing art, before I actually knew exactly what I was doing when I was a kid. It's really cool. A group of people can sit down and use their imagination to come up with a completely different world and then make it real and engage with an audience and make them feel a certain emotion. that's the reason why I would say I appreciate art in general, be it visual or literal. It's the ability to take someone into a totally different world and then make them feel a certain emotion. That's the reason why I really wanted to dive into that realm, because I have a passion for it. It's like a really, really strong passion and appreciation, by the way, because people, like normal people, when I say normal people, I'm not talking about us. Normal people, when they say, hey, you're an artist, they have a certain look, or they like games, video games, such a waste of time, They don't understand that the amount of work and experience that goes into this thing, the blood and the sacrifice, the sweat and the tears.
Yeah, the layoffs and the layoffs. Yeah.
Going through like a series of these emotions to actually have an impact on someone outside, whether it's going to be a horror game or FPS game, whatever you call it. They have a goal apart from making profits, obviously, but how they're going to engage with their audience is going to determine their success.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to be a part of. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
No, it's okay. I can understand, like the logic behind why you want to go down that path. Because I was then going to ask you, what about doing concept art for film, or whatever, or animation.
Well, animation was just the reason why I wanted to, because it's still the same thing,
Yeah,
but except with film, sometimes it's got its own way of doing things, but
yeah,
they all have a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because like with games are like interactive media, whereas films and animation, you just passively engage in observing, like a voyeur, like you're like watching something naked, and that's like the movie, or the anime. You're just observing it, whereas with the game, you're actually playing moving characters, you're making them do stuff.
Yeah, true, very true. I wanted to be an animator, as I mentioned before, deciding to be a concept artist or a character designer. It's just that I really do love drawing character designs and concept art, because it's still close to home, even though I won't be the one animating. I can animate, but that's not where I'm set right now. Probably after I feel like, okay, I've gained this amount of skill, then I can move to a different skill and another stage in my career. But they all are related somehow, be it film, animation, or game design. Because with animation, it also requires the same amount of patience, and that's how you gain your skills. It also takes time for you to master the fundamentals. That's the thing about animation. But the whole reason of wanting to get into animation was because of anime. I'm an otaku, man. I'm a weeb,
Yeah, I mean, like you did do 2 years of being a shut-in, so you above and beyond. You were a hikikomori. Yeah,
I'd say I was more into actually reading manga. I covered a whole lot of like manga during that time, and I was the only person I knew who was reading manga around that time. Anime was there here and there because someone had to download it for me and then give it to me in a hard drive.
Oh, okay.
But manga, I could just do it on my phone. I didn't actually know I could stream it on my phone at that time.
Okay, but you just had to
until like 2015. That's when I was like, okay. Yeah. But that being said, I really do still appreciate the amount of work that goes into it. In terms of creating anime, because people would ask me, "Oh, you watch anime?" I don't like anime. I prefer watching cartoons. I'm like, well, what did you watch? Then they'll tell me that they don't know. I'm like, yeah, that's probably the reason why you don't know anything about it, because you probably just watched one thing, probably Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, and there's a whole lot of genres that you're missing out on.
Or maybe they watched Boku no Pico and thought all of us were cursed.
Nah, I highly doubt they watched that. All the weebs know but me. Yeah.
Cool. Anyways, this has been interesting. So, apart from, I guess, what's it called? The teacher who nagged you, the technical drawing teacher who nagged you into, entering that contest. Who else do you think, would you want to show appreciation towards for, like, you going down this path and actually making something out of it?
I would say the guys that come exposed, Tino, he's my mentor, man. Like,
another student of the great Tino. Yeah, like Tawonga even said that he got mentored by Tawonga was the guy who, for episode 7, the animator. He also under Tino's wing.
Yeah. He's a super chill dude, very patient when it comes to teaching stuff, and I interned as a concept artist, by the way. And I knew nothing about it when I interned. I mean, in terms of the process and how it works.
Yeah.
Even though we'll do other things at the office, but his mentorship skills are on another level. He helped me grow as an artist. And then when it comes to design, my boyfriend Sean is also an artist. He's really good. He's the one that I want to beat, but then I'm still like quite far from getting.
As long as beating doesn't.
Is this the same guy who you had a rivalry with in high school, or this is just another random weeb who knocked you out?
This one was in college. This one was in college. In high school, it was another guy who was just like completely annoyed me because, he didn't have to study for him to be good. He was just, naturally good. But college, it was my boyfriend whose design skills are like, I would commend them, because he's the one who mentors me when it comes to design. So I'd say those are the people I'd like to give a shout out to, because
and I also want to make an apology to Sean. We are not gang banging her on the mic, okay? We are good, decent people.
Too late for that.
Do not hurt us. Is he South African or Zimbabwean?
He's South African, yeah.
Please do not stab us. We are good people, and we're peace-loving people, and we won't do anything to your girl, or not yet, but still, we are peace-loving people, and yeah. That also brings me to another point. Brings me to another point. I wanted to ask you, why do you call yourself Rabbit?
The weird rabbit.
That like your totem?
To be precise. No, that's not my totem. My totem is kudu or eland, because there's a fight between the two. But then the one with the big horns is a kudu. So I always like to argue with people who say otherwise. But
In other words, more, or is it not? It's not more. It's tierra.
yes. But not, let's
I
not
knew it. I
get too
knew it.
personal. Damn it.
I knew it.
But with the whole rabbit thing, okay. For those who know me, know very well that I am extremely obsessed with cute things, and rabbits being one of them. Rabbits are so damn cute. And another
And
reason
tasty.
is that when I
Yeah,
was a kid,
they are
and
tasty.
tasty too. You know, they're gonna call me a savage. I've eaten rabbits before. I'm so sorry, guys. That's just the truth. They taste nice. You know, I'm a cannibal. But when I was a kid, I had an aunt who kept rabbits. You know, those red-eyed ones. So one day, I was poking the cage, trying to feed this rabbit, you know, some food, and then it bit me. So I think, you know, just like how Spider-Man got his powers, I got mine from that rabbit. Mind you, it was so painful. It left its teeth marks on me, but I just love rabbits in general. They're really cute, kind-looking creatures. You know, there's no way you're gonna look at a rabbit and say, "Hey, that thing looks hideous." It's just gonna make you say, "Oh." So
And then afterwards, you just take it and then you smash it and then you cripple it so that it will never run again.
Okay.
who hurt you? I'm wondering why you gotta inflict pain on women and animals.
Who said it's just women and who said I inflict pain on women and animals? It's like it's on everyone.
Hey, last time
If I could,
that's where you put emphasis on. Okay, I haven't forgotten you and your weird remarks of women being called cows. Because you think I've forgotten.
and men are savages. What's the point? Men are idiots. Yeah, you know, deal with it. You know, if I treat everyone equally, man.
You say this.
All right, cool. Okay, so
You wanna
a rabbit bit you, and you decided to call yourself the weird rabbit.
Yeah, after years of consideration, I think I just like rabbits in general. That I turned myself into one somehow. In my head, I think I am a rabbit. You know, and I've got teeth, 2 front teeth that look like rabbit teeth. So that puts that into conclusion.
Okay.
So
interesting.
So Lisa, if people, like especially people who don't know you, who you are, if they want to check out like your material or like the stuff you're allowed to show, stuff that's not banned in NBA, where can they find like your work? Like not like your art and maybe the design stuff you have online.
The easiest places for you guys to go would be to check out my Instagram at Lisa Chivanga. You know, that's where I show like my stuff that I like drawing in my personal time. And then you could also check out my Behance, also Lisa Chivanga. Though there isn't anything much to show there, but you can find a thing or two. But feel free to like email me at lisachivanga@gmail.com. That's where you'll probably get, you know, personal portfolios to show you my stuff. For some reason, I'm hesitant to show my stuff on social media. It's either I'm just lazy or I procrastinate. Or I just don't care. So
you don't care. Or you
happens.
don't want people to see your work.
Yeah, to be honest, like I have things that I do and then somehow they just don't make it to social media. So I'm sorry guys if I'm depriving you, but I'll try to be better.
All right. Anyways, I'm kind of exhausted. I'm feeling like it's the interview.
It's been a long interview.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You have been the limelight, and you feel like talking. And it seems like by the length of this actual interview, it's supposed to show you enjoy talking about yourself.
You narcissistic bastard.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do love being put on the spotlight. Thank you so much, guys, and thanks everyone who's going to listen to this podcast. I hope you actually make it through the end. We're also going to have to chop it up, to make it very short and reasonable.
Nah,
But yeah,
no,
thank you so
we're
much
gonna
for
we're
having
not gonna
me.
just deliver this long thick rod to our audience.
What? And you say that I'm
They're
messed up.
gonna
Yeah.
complain about their data.
It is what it is. All right, so I'm glad that you made time to talk to us degenerates. Um, yeah. So
I was on my best behavior today, you see.
yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So
That is appreciated. It won't go by unnoticed.
all right. So
Okay, so let me
let's
just.
okay. You have something to say?
Oh, I was just going to wrap it all up, like, just say the closing remarks, but then, because, our show really doesn't have any closing remarks. We just cancel it like Zessa went, or like our internet got cut. We should have like a finish, like a finishing move. It's like
All right. Cool.
we don't bust a nut properly. Like, we need a finishing move.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, you can do your final moments.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. To the one or two few people that ended up listening towards the end, we love your faces, and we'll see you next time. And in fact, no, cancel that. I'm not going to plagiarize another YouTuber.
You're talking about Philip DeFranco. Yeah, you sounded like
Yes.
yeah.
Very easy. Like I said, like, that was the thing in my head. I was just like, wait a minute, I'm sounding too much like this guy. I do not want to be arrested or copyright
No, it's
stricken.
okay, dude. Just finish. I'm tired. Like, just end it.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. Goodbye and good night.
Good night, fellow
Bye.
degenerates.